Fall is such a fun time of year because there are a lot of plants that do really well in the fall and they like the cooler temperatures that we get. So chrysanthemums are obviously a very popular fall plant. So today we're going to show you some tips on how to get the most out of your mums. Chrysanthemum is actually derived from a Greek word, and chrysos means gold in Greek, which obviously a lot of chrysanthemums we see are yellow and gold, and then anthos means flower. They're really fun because you can really add some color to your fall landscape. Mums are called short day plants, which means they do great in fall. That's when they start to bloom. They like long nights. So we're starting to get longer, cooler nights, and that signals the chrysanthemums to start blooming. So besides chrysanthemums, there's a few other plants that do really well in the cool temperatures. There's ornamental kale and cabbages. They're really fun, kind of purple colors. They like the cool temperatures. Pansies do really well in the cold fall temperatures. They can even survive slight frosts. And then of course asters bloom in the fall. They're a great purple color for the landscape that adds some late fall blooms. So a lot of times mums are marketed as annuals. You can see on this tag that it does say it's an annual plant. So they're not really expecting it to survive the winter. And that's just because they're bred to be big and showy and colorful, and they have pretty weak, small root systems. Today I'm just gonna pot one in a container, so it probably won't overwinter, which is fine with me. I just want some color up until we start getting some frosts. So when you're planting it, make sure you break up the roots a little bit. That way it roots out better in the pot. So if you really want mums in your landscape, you can plant them earlier. Like you can find them in the spring and plant them in the spring when they're small plants. And that way they really have time to let the roots get established before we start getting cold weather in the fall. But if you do want to try to experiment and get the most out of your money with this plant right here, you can try to protect it. So if you plant it in your landscape, you can use some mulch over it in the winter. Put 2 to 4 inches of like fall leaves or pine needles over it to help protect the root system. Also another tip is to not cut it down after it has been hit by frost. Leave the leaves and flower buds, that way they help insulate the roots and keep the plant more protected from the frost. So if you're planting your mums in a pot, make sure to use like a potting soil, not garden soil. Mums aren't too picky, they do well in almost any type of soil. Make sure you're giving them enough space in the landscape or in a pot, and then make sure you're giving them enough water. If they're in a pot, you probably need to check it about every other day. If they're in your landscape, about 1 inch of water a week. Another fun thing about fall is you can really add in some decorations. They make fun signs you can add into your containers, little pumpkins you can put in to really add some cute decoration. So if you have any questions about how to care for your fall flowering plants, please contact your local K-State Extension office.